The story begins inside a filthy, cluttered apartment. Trash bags cover the floor, blocking pathways, while grime coats the windows so thick that almost no light enters. Torn calendar pages hang on the wall, marking days like scars. Here lives Atsuro Krosu, a young man consumed by depression and isolation after failing his university entrance exam. He has cut himself off completely, even from his parents, believing his existence is meaningless. His days blur together, empty and repetitive. One night, lying on his bed, he recites digits of pi to himself before deciding to end it all. He fastens a belt around his neck and ties the other end to a shelf. As he steps off, the shelf rips away from the wall and crashes down on top of him. Gasping for breath, Atsuro notices something strange. The broken shelf has left a hole in the wall. Through that hole, light filters in from the neighboring apartment. Curious, he peers inside and sees his beautiful neighbor, Ryomichi, eating dinner. From her side, the hole is hidden behind a bookshelf, making her oblivious. Captivated, Atsuro begins secretly watching Ryo's life through that gap. He observes her leaving for class with books in hand, guesses she's a student, and notices she never brings friends home. Convinced she lives as isolated as he does, he spends days watching her every move. But one evening, she disappears. Worried, he ventures outside for the first time in ages and creeps to her door. While listening at the mail slot, he's caught by Haruko Kawasaki, a young woman visiting her brother downstairs. She leaves food for him at the door, but after she's gone, Atsuro steals the bag, desperate for a real meal. As he eats, Ryo suddenly appears, catching him in the act. To his surprise, she isn't angry. After introductions, Ryo realizes he's her neighbor and invites him over for lunch. While she prepares food, Atsuro notices the hole from her side. She teases him about his stretched out pants before they share a warm, homemade meal. For the first time in months, Atsuro feels a flicker of happiness. She suggests they hang out again. From that day forward, their meals together become a routine. During one visit, Atsuro blurts out his failures. Quitting prep school, having no job, drifting through life. Ryo reassures him, saying their bond, however sudden, means a lot to her. Her kindness touches him deeply. Back in his apartment, he covers the hole with paper and a thumbtack, promising himself he won't spy anymore. But a violent storm hits that night, and he tears the paper down. He sees Ryo return home, wearing a transparent raincoat, a box cutter in her hand. A suited man follows her in. After a brief embrace, Ryo unleashes a blur of martial arts, slitting his throat. Blood splatters across the raincoat as she smiles wickedly. Atsuro jolts, knocking the wall, which dislodges a book on her side that blocks his view. Moments later, a van arrives and men carry boxes upstairs. Confused and horrified, he can't process what he saw. That night, Ryo knocks on his door, smiling sweetly and carrying a pot of food. She asks to eat at his place. They light candles and dine calmly, though Atsuro is shaken. Afterward, he uses chopsticks to push the fallen book aside, peering again. Everything looks normal. Maybe it was all a hallucination, until a mysterious woman named Reina Amagi passes his door, calls him by name, and disappears. The next morning, Ryo casually offers him her washing machine and another meal. Later that night, Atsuro peeks again. This time, he sees her murder another man with a bee tattoo, wearing the same raincoat. She notices him watching and plunges her cutter through the hole. Terrified, Atsuro flees. Ryo chases him to the rooftop. Cornered, he admits he's been watching and already knew she was a killer. Amused, Ryo points out that even knowing the truth, he still ate with her. She raises her blade, ready to kill him. Desperate, Atsuro confesses he once tried to hang himself, but the hole revealed her, and suddenly life felt better than death. Kneeling, eyes closed, he tells her he doesn't care if she kills him now. Intrigued, Ryo presses the blade to his neck, but doesn't cut. When he blurts that he wants to date her, she surprises him by agreeing. She licks the blood off his lip, stops him from kissing her, and demands he keep spying on her. From then on, their twisted relationship grows. Haruko continues visiting her brother downstairs, unaware of what's happening above. Atsuro and Ryo share meals more often. He promises to get a job to be a better boyfriend, landing work at a convenience store, though every box cutter reminds him of her murders. When she brings him to her university to carry a microwave for her lab, he struggles with social anxiety in the crowd, but steadies himself when she proudly introduces him as her boyfriend. Over lunch, he vows to retake exams and become worthy of her. Ryo laughs, reminding him she's a murderer who isn't stopping. Later, she dons her raincoat during a date and slaughters a random woman in the street. Soon she begins killing openly in front of him. Though she insists her victims are criminals she tracks, Atsuro feels uneasy. He jokes about her being a vigilante, but the humor fades. None of her murders ever appear in the news. At the park, he offers her ice cream he bought just for them, and she's touched. His life improves. He buys a new phone, works steadily, and feels less empty. But things take a dark turn. One night, he peeks through the hole and sees Kawasaki, Haruko's brother, tied up in Ryo's room. Atsuro begs her not to kill him, calling it wrong. She ignores him and cuts Kawasaki's throat. Reina's crew arrives in their van to clean up, explaining why the murders remain hidden. Furious, Atsuro confronts them, demanding answers. Reina mocks him as either brave or stupid, revealing Kawasaki tortured cats and deserved it. She warns Atsuro that Ryo cannot sustain relationships. Eventually, he'll die too. The next morning, Ryo breaks into his room through the balcony when he avoids her. She curls up beside him, but when he pleads for her to stop killing, she argues that true justice doesn't exist. Laws change everywhere, so who decides who deserves to live? He insists he doesn't want to see her kill again. Hurt, she leaves. Though he admits to himself he still loves her. Tension builds when Ryo grows jealous of Haruko, who's been searching for her missing brother. Over dinner, Atsuro asks if Ryo plans to kill Haruko. She assures him she won't, saying it would break her own rules. But soon, Haruko is drugged during tea with them. Ryo intends to kill her, claiming she makes her own rules, but Atsuro's persistence forces her to back off. Haruko leaves alive. Reina later warns Atsuro that Ryo will never truly connect with him, urging him to walk away. Atsuro's life spirals between Ryo's murders and Haruko's pleas for him to see reason. One night, the B-Gang, criminals tied to Ryo's victims, kidnap him, demanding she kill for them or they'll expose her. Atsuro refuses. They slash his cheek and dump him. Ryo sees his wound, furious, but he stops her from retaliating, saying he'd rather be hurt than see her kill again. He argues she can change because she spared Haruko. She insists killing is who she is. Through tears, she ends things, telling him to cover the hole. Yet when Atsuro later spies again, he sees Ryo kill. But this time, she weeps afterward. He realizes she was forced by the B-Gang. Needing her more than ever, he marches to their bar to beg them to stop. They laugh, beat him bloody, and prepare to slit his throat like Ryo's victims. Suddenly, the power cuts out. Sleeping gas fills the room. Ryo enters in her transparent raincoat, cutters flashing. She slaughters the gang in fury, then gently tends to Atsuro. She admits the kill didn't feel good, but it doesn't mean she'll stop. They confess their love, kiss, and she stabs him. Smiling, she says she's always wanted to kill someone she loved. But the satisfaction isn't there. Atsuro, strangely relieved, smiles back, whispering love before collapsing. Days later, Reina spots them leaving together. Ryo with a suitcase, Atsuro hobbling on crutches. They're moving out, joking about spying even as they plan a new life. Ryo promises she won't kill anyone else, except someday she'll kill him. Atsuro smiles. That's fine. This artery belongs only to you. They both pause, realizing they've never even shared their first names. Laughing, they finally introduce themselves properly and shake hands, like it's the start of something new.